Hey, Twisted People. It's your girl here, Chauncey K. Robinson. I think I'm seeing that you all are talking in the thing. I think there might have been a glitch somewhere. Probably. I don't know. Um, yeah, I put in Melon. I put in 5:30. So I'm not sure if there was a little bit of mix up, if something went live when it shouldn't have. But usually I believe I've said 5:30 for the Chucky ones, unless something went live without me knowing. I'm not sure, y'all, but let me know. I usually it's 5:30, right? I think we had picked like 5:30 for Chucky on Thursdays. At least that's what I remember. I don't think it was like at 4 or whatever. So if there's a little bit of a mix up, my bad. I thought I put up the thing, and I think I said on Twitter 5:30 p.m. But if there was not, if there was an issue, I'll like fix that for next time. So apologies. Yeah, if it was some weird thing on there. I thought I put 5:30. But yes, we have to talk about Chucky episode 4, Just Let Go. Yeah, we're talking about it. And so, you know, we're talking about what happened. Things are going on. This episode felt a little shorter in some regards, and I think it was technically shorter, right? I think it was about about 40 or so minutes. I think that's how long it actually was. So which is fine. We don't mind a shorter episode because it did what it had to do. And that's one of the things I do appreciate about this series, is that it does not overstay its welcome when it comes to what it has to show. Like I've yet to feel like, and I know it's still semi early in the series because I believe it's 10 episodes this season. So I don't want to jinx it, but I do tend to feel like the episodes, they tell what they need to tell. There's for lack of a better word, dead air when it comes to what we see on the show. Like everything's kind of useful. So we saw some, even though it was a shorter episode, there were some definite things that happened that were significant. Certain things we learned, certain little Easter eggs we got. So we want to talk about it all, right? We want to talk about all the Easter eggs, all the little things we saw, all the hints that we saw. And my cat also wants to know as well. Say hi, Pato. Yeah, my baby. Yeah, so thank you all once again for joining me in this live stream, in the live chat. It's always a pleasure talking stories with you all. We got Jaws in here saying it was a great episode. You can already see where they're leading these characters, definitely. Yeah, I know, but that's my one caveat when it comes to Chucky, when it comes how he treats cats. I do not appreciate it, you know. One of the things I can appreciate about Jason, Friday the 13th, is that I don't think he ever hurt a dog. They made you think he hurt a dog, I think in which movie was it? I think it was maybe part 2. They made you think he hurt the dog, but it was a fake out because the dog was actually alive. And I believe Kane Holder, who played Jason in many of the movies, he actually had a thing where, because he was such an avid dog lover, he refused to make Jason, you know, like hit a dog or kick a dog or anything like that. So yay for animal lovers in horror. But yeah, so we got a few things. Let me just check in with the thing. We got Bannon in the chat. We got Blake. Hey, Blake, thanks so much for joining. And thanks to everyone who is joining for this live stream that we're doing. Yeah, let me see. Zach, what's Zach saying? Zach Frederick is saying, I saw the first 3 episodes of the new Chucky series, but I missed the 4th one this week. I tried to watch the playback, but the 4th one is the only one that's not available. Yeah, that sucks. There are places you can catch it at. Hint, hint. There are free places that you can catch it at. That you can watch it if you want to. And you don't have to download anything or anything like that. I believe someone actually who's in the chat might have hooked me up with that. So maybe they'll pass that along to you. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it on stream. I don't want to get in trouble. You know, but there are places you can actually watch it that doesn't have to be on Sci-Fi itself. when it, when you have to, because sometimes they make it hard. It's so weird to me, funny enough, it's so weird to me that Sci-Fi Channel, even though it's owned by NBC Universal, or at least it's under the same company, that they don't put the episodes on Peacock, which is their streaming service. I think they have some of the sci-fi stuff on NBC Universe on Peacock, but not this, which is weird because I'm pretty sure it's like one of its highest like, it's Rotten Tomato certified. So it's one of its, more, energy grabbing shows, and you think they put it on there too, but they have not, which is weird that they didn't put that on Peacock. But okay, so I want to ask you all, as I get into my overall review and thoughts about this, is what grade would you give this episode? If you had to give Chucky episode 4, Just Let Go, a grade, what would it be and why? And are you still loving this season so far? Do you think it took a drastic turn? Are you kind of like, oh, why are we going this route? Are you still loving it? Let me know. I'm very curious, what you all are thinking about this so far. And also my question for those of you who have watched it is, do you think Chucky is getting help in the town? We saw a little bit, and I'll touch on why I think he might be getting some help in some regard, or, what's his end game? That's actually 2 questions, right? It's like, is he getting some help? And we kind of touched on this in the last live stream, is what is his end game? What's the end game? What is he trying to get at here? What are we seeing, right? Because it can't just be Lexi. There's got to be more. I mean, Lexi was something he was doing for Jake in a way, but there's got to be something else going on. And I think we saw some little hints of it as well. Zach is saying, I got that stupid Peacock channel just for the new Halloween movie, but that's the only thing I don't get for free on there, right? Right? I know. We did it too. And then they had an issue with the subtitles on it, which sucks because my partner is hearing impaired. And there was a whole thing where on the device we had it on, we couldn't get the subtitles. We had to switch to a whole other device just to watch Halloween Kills with the subtitles. You all have met Michael before on this channel. He's hearing impaired. And, that's, something we deal with the subtitles and stuff. And it was, it was really an issue, which sucks. There should be subtitles for places, especially when you're paying for a service. Bannon is saying solid A and still loving it. I didn't give it an A+ because Lexi is still alive. Okay, so that's a caveat, right? Yes, he's getting help, and I think there are multiple Chuckies. That's interesting to think that there are multiple Chuckies. Now, I say this because I know I will say one of the movies I did not see in the Chucky franchise was Cult of Chucky. And I feel like some weird stuff that was different from all the other canon happened in that movie that may make certain things possible in terms of possession and all that. Now, in terms of multi-Chuckies, that is a very interesting theory, but there's only one soul, right? If he only has one soul, how can there be multiple Chuckies unless he's jumping around? And he didn't seem, what was also funny is that Chucky didn't see, Chucky didn't seem very up, like in arms over him being half melted, which was very interesting too. Probably because he's probably mastered the art of jumping around, funny enough. Because as you all remember, in the first movie and in the second one, possibly in the third, but in the first and second one, the ones I remember the most prominently, his thing was all about trying to get out of the doll. That was his main thing. He's like, I got to get out of this doll. I need to get in a new body. And that was a whole thing. I think it's changed a bit as the series went on. I know in some regards, it was a whole thing where he got stuck in the body forever and he couldn't get out of it. So I don't know if that has changed, because I think we were talking about it last live stream on, what's canon in this universe, what's canon. I'm guessing the reboot is not canon at all. But are all the other movies canon? Are all the other movies in play? And I think we got a little bit of our answer with that in this episode, as we saw when Devin was looking around at Googling things about Chucky, we saw little things here and there about Chucky that played on previous movies, not even the first and second movies, but like the other ones. So I think we can say that it's all in play here. Which means I need to brush up because I did not watch Cult of Chucky. I've heard that's one of the better ones of the later sequels. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, or if I heard wrong, I should say, because that's not my opinion. That's what I've heard. Bannon is saying, I think his end game with Jake was just to turn him into a killer, a la his flashback this episode. Yeah, maybe he wants to make more killers of the world. Blake is saying, I hope the doll army is there too, but I'm not sure what the end game would be. Yeah, so I'm guessing there was something with a doll army, y'all. I didn't see that. So if that happened in the later sequels, please, I don't mind spoilers for that. Let me know. Zach is saying, yeah, that's what I've been trying to figure out with the new Chucky. I still don't know what his motive is, but that's part of what's keeping me invested in this new series. We'll see. I agree. I definitely agree about that, because it is interesting that we're in this fourth episode, and that hasn't really been revealed yet. The bigger end game, why he came back to New Jersey, what's going on here, why New Jersey of all places, what is he trying to do? Is Chucky trying to do world domination from Jersey? I mean, crazier things have happened in Jersey, y'all. Okay, so my grade for this episode would be a solid A. And I think I've given all the episodes a solid A. All of them have a great balance of the horror factor, of the high stakes, with the interlaced of the comedy, the dark comedy of this show. And I definitely enjoy that. And so I definitely am giving it an A. It's interesting. One of y'all mentioned, like, you can see where they're going with the characters. In a way, I can kind of see where they're going with the characters, but I'm almost kind of like, maybe they're lulling us into a sense of security with some of these characters for them to upend it. And for us to be like, whoa, like, we thought so-and-so was safe. We thought this was going to happen. We thought these people were going to become friends, and it all goes, totally 180. So I'm kind of holding out for that, because I'm not saying this show is necessarily full of twists and turns. It's not necessarily. It's kind of pretty straightforward, except in terms of them hiding what exactly Chucky wants. So I don't know if there's going to be some like, oh my gosh, didn't see that coming twist. But I definitely am holding out that they could do that. That could be a thing, right? Blake is saying, I definitely need to watch Cult. Okay. And Zach is saying, Chauncey, the Doll Army was in Cult. So y'all are letting me know I need to sit down and watch Cult of Chucky, because that is like, I think that's the one I have not seen. I think that's the only one I haven't seen. I've seen all the other ones. I saw Bride of Chucky. But I didn't care for Bride of Chucky, y'all. But I think I gave up after that. But I guess I'll watch Cult of Chucky as well. So, okay, so I gave it an A. I like what they're doing in some aspects, and in other aspects, it's a little frustrating with some of the things they're doing, but it's supposed to be frustrating. If everything just if everyone communicated the way they're supposed to, if everything was supposed to go the way it's supposed to go, then you wouldn't have a horror movie, let alone a series, right? Michael is joining us in the chat, and he's saying, I love every episode of Chucky, A+. Yeah, it's really an enjoyable series. I have been pleasantly surprised, and I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I've been pleasantly surprised that I like this series as much as I do. It's really actually kind of high up there on the TV series that I've seen thus far this year. Okay, so some of the things that happened this episode. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of it, y'all. One, we had the fire, and everyone rushed to the hospital. And it was also revealed Oliver's death. I know we talked about it in the last live stream, where we were wondering if Oliver's death wasn't going to be determined because of the fire. And that seemed to not be the case. And it was determined that he was they were able to, I guess his body was not burnt and everything well beyond repair, to be able to tell the cause of death, the actual cause of death. So we have that going on in the air. Lexi is now full team Chucky is alive oh my gosh. So her and Jake have this confrontation, which we'll talk about in a second. And then they go and they try to figure out things. The adults got stuff going on with them. They got their own issues. And we got 2 kills this episode, one from the past and one in the present. And we'll talk about those as well. So let's talk about the hospital. I just want to take a moment to talk about the hospital because that was the most dimly lit, eerie hospital that wasn't supposed to be abandoned that I have seen in a long time on a show. I just was like, I get it. Maybe it's for the aesthetic that it's supposed to feel this way, but it just really wasn't believable to me. I'm like, why are the lights pink in the hallway? What kind of, Willy Wonka kind of thing are we doing here? The lights were dim when when the doctor came in and looked into his throat and it was like, okay, it looks good. I'm like, well, I guess you have to get that close. You don't got no light. The light's over your head. You're blocking it. This is very much not realistic. But I guess it definitely added to the atmosphere of it. And I think that was the point, that it was supposed to be kind of nightmarish, which is what you kind of get. And I think you kind of have to have it nightmarish because of the fact that although I think Chucky would have been able to get around in a hospital that was well lit, I'm pretty sure we've seen scenes where he's done that before. I think it added to the thing that if you have the room's not very lit and it's kind of a nightmarish kind of thing, that it adds to, is that Chucky or is that the little toddler who somehow serendipitously looks like he's dressed exactly like a Chucky doll? Random. So we had that as well. That was just it was very stylistic. There were choices made about that hospital, about everything going on in that hospital, from the rooms to the lighting, to the fact that there were old used needles just sitting by the little girl's bed, Lexi's bed. There was like just a toolbox of old needles just right there for Chucky to pick up. Like, what? Like, just there? Like, I'd be questioning, I'd question the mayor in that moment. I'd be like, what's going on with the hospitals here? You know what I mean? Like, this ain't sanitary. So, I mean, that was a little bit of suspension of disbelief there. That was a little bit of suspension of disbelief. Bannon's saying it was a stark contrast since the last time we saw the hospital in one of his movies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like he's done that before, and it didn't have to be that stylistic. So yeah, that was a little weird for me. It was a little distracting, to be honest. I was a little distracted by it. I was like, this hospital is kind of, where's the security? Everyone's just running in and out and being able to go in everybody's rooms. I'm like, that's not how hospitals are run. Usually one of the quintessential horror moments in a horror movie when someone has to go in the hospital is some nurse or security person stopping them and be like, excuse me, you can't go in there. That's like the quintessential trope of a horror movie. One of those little tropes you never really notice, but they're always happening when that thing happens. And that didn't happen because everyone was just able to walk around just like willy-nilly, like no security whatsoever. Josh is saying no, because let's talk about the nurses in these old uniforms. It was bothering me right? It was just like, it's a little distracting. This is kind of not realistic. That was a little bit. I was like, okay, I guess. Blake is saying, oh, I love the lighting choices with the modern day nurses are wearing old school uniforms. Yeah, I definitely think it was a stylistic choice. I don't think it was like meant to be necessarily so realistic. And I think we were just supposed to go with it. And after a bit, I did go with it, but I had to just be like, okay, this is a bit, there's a lot of choices are being made here. Yeah, a lot of choices are being made. So I just wanted to say that was my aside about the hospital itself. But then let's talk about the adults in this situation. So we're getting a little bit more about the adults, Junior's parents, right? There seems to be like his mom. I don't know. I forgot, I had the name. I think Bree, right? Bree seems to be hinting at something with her husband, right? Kind of saying, it puts things in perspective. Life's too short to pretend that everything's okay, and things like that. And I thought that was really telling, right? I thought that was telling that there was something clearly going on under the surface with this character and with maybe the marriage, perhaps. And we know from the first episode that Bree's got a secret. We don't know what the secret is yet either of Bree's secret, right? She's got a secret. We just don't know what. And I think that's very interesting. I think it's interesting also that they're still drawing that out, that hasn't really been touched upon except in little tiny moments. It'll be interesting depending on, like, maybe she's related to someone from the previous Chucky movies and that gets revealed or something like that. I think that'll be very interesting if that ends up being a case at all. Tell me in the chat, what do you think Bree's secret might be? Do you think it might be directly related to Chucky, or is it maybe she's having an affair or something like that? Something basic. I hope it's not something basic. I actually hope it's something that has to do with the plot of a doll serial killer going on. But we saw that there's a little bit of that. And then we saw, Jake's uncle, Junior's dad, being the quintessential stereotypical father who doesn't want to admit that maybe he's pushing his son into something that his son doesn't want to do, and Junior not being able to tell him. So we had a little bit of melodrama going on. We also had the fight between the parents, and I was kind of liking that. I was not feeling Lexi's mom at first as the mayor, because previous episode they had the confrontation where she just really wasn't trying to hear that Lexi was doing wrong to Jake. And then in this episode, although I do think part of the reason why Lexi is probably the way she is because of the neglect she gets from her parents, or lack of attention she gets from her parents. But it was kind of good to see that her mom looked around at her and said, this is your fault. You had this party, and on top of that, leave Jake alone, because she tried to bring up Jake, and she's like, just leave Jake alone. You've done enough. So there was an acknowledgement of that, but then it kind of reverted right back in the scene with the confrontation where, she's going at Devin's mom. She's going at their mom, like, oh, something's wrong with all of y'all. We're not the only bad parents here. And I thought it was really good. Sometimes with certain series, it's either the younger set is the better one and the adults kind of lack, or the adults are the better ones and you want more of them and the kids kind of lack. But I think the show has done a good job of balancing both of them. Even though we haven't gotten an extensive thing with the adults, the stuff that we do get is actually quite entertaining. And I'm actually very, curious about that with Bree, with kind of the intergoings with, with the other characters, Junior's dad, and things like that. So that was cool to see, and I thought that worked. And also we're gonna have, obviously, that Lexi can't go back to her house for the next who knows how long, depending on if they end up doing some type of time jump or something like that. Who knows? For the next couple of weeks. So we saw that, and I thought that worked. Then we also saw. I'm just looking at my notes, y'all. We now have it so Devin knows. And I thought that was good to bring him into the fold. I think the next step is Junior finding out somehow, or believing them or not. I think it's good that Devin got brought into the fold, just because of the whole thing with his mom. And we got to talk about, speaking of the adults, I didn't finish with that, Devin's mom, the detective. I was not feeling her choices this episode. I think I get it. Her instincts are telling her Jake has something to do with this, but I don't know about y'all, but I thought it was a bit unethical that she was taking Jake into one of the random rooms in the hospital, not informing his guardians, right? She didn't inform his guardians. Hey, I'm going to do some questioning with your nephew here about possible situations and stuff like that, about the possible killing, so that maybe his guardian could say, well, you can't do that. I'm going to lawyer up, giving them the chance of doing that. And then in the questioning, she's leading him on, it's something with Jake. I love the character because he has a certain vulnerability to him. And I was a little frustrated with him in the beginning of this episode because it felt like he couldn't get his words out. But I do think that's actually true to form because he's a vulnerable character. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He has anxiety and things like that. It can be hard to get the words out when you're getting bombarded and you're trying to process. And I love that he finally got to tell Lexi, no, you're not a good person. I wanted you dead because you deserved it. Because I was almost afraid he wasn't going to tell Lexi that, and that Lexi was going to get away with kind of blaming him for everything, which I kept saying at the TV, no, it's your fault too, Lexi. You had the party and you were a jerk to him. Let's see, Bannon is saying that argument was very Desperate Housewives, and I loved it, right? There were some really cool moments there. Zach is saying, I hope we get Karen Barkley appearance at some point by Catherine Hicks, but it'll probably be later in the series. If we get that, it probably won't be in season 1. And that's the question too. Are we getting a season 2 of the show? I haven't looked it up yet to know if that's been announced, if we're getting a season 2, but that'll be interesting if they can kind of keep this going, right? Like, how far can we go with this? Bannon is saying, agreed. Devin's mom is going way overboard and she is determined to catch Jake, but she gave him an alibi by being with him when her partner got killed. Exactly. And that's exactly what I thought too. I definitely thought that as well. I'm like, well, now you can't really keep questioning him because you were with him when your partner got killed and you saw him come into the hospital with Lexi. So with your partner being killed, he couldn't have been around him because as soon as your partner went into you saw him, as soon as your partner went into the hospital, you took Jake and you have been sitting with him all of that time. So hopefully that kind of cancels that out. But I just really wasn't understanding her. I get it. She was sensing something, and rightly so. Let's be honest. Jake does know, but it's kind of like, she was so adamant that she wasn't paying attention to anything else, you know? And that was a little bit, that was a little bit like, okay, you're kind of going against his rights here. I can't really, think you're one of the good guys. A little bit of a gray area here with Devin's mom. But I think it's good that Devin's in on it now. Although now I worry about Devin again, because he also saw Chucky give the middle finger. So now Chucky may have a long list of people he has to do away with, and Devin might be included. And so, we saw that was a great thing with the whole Lexi Jake dynamic, which had been coming to a head since the beginning of this series so far. Lexi was ready to kind of blame it all on him. Oh my God. She just sounded, I love that Chucky called her a Karen in training wheels, a Karen on training wheels. That was great. And I like the moment where Jake just turns around and he's like, no, I wanted to do it not because there's something wrong with me, but because something's wrong with you. You're a problem, because, you had Lexi saying things like, oh my gosh, if it really got that bad, why didn't you just tell me? I mean, are we forgetting the times when Junior literally told her, let up, don't do that, you're going too far, calm down, and she didn't listen? Someone was telling you to let up, Lexi, and you weren't listening. So this idea that had Jake told her, she would have stopped, we know that's a lie. And if anything, it kind of keeps with this characterization of this, immature young girl who really doesn't want to take full responsibility for things. But I do think maybe her and Jake might come to a truce from this point on, only because of he did save her at that moment. He could have let go, hence the title of the episode, Just Let Go, as Chucky was trying to get him to do it, and he didn't. And she thanked him for that. So maybe that might be an olive branch, but I guess we'll see. And I know some of you are still rooting for Lexi's demise. So let me know, y'all, do you think Lexi kind of got everything that she deserved this episode? Like her parents feeling that way about her sister getting hurt? Or do you think it really needs to go full throttle? Part of me is kind of like, okay, I don't know. I'm not going to say I think she learned her lesson, but I'm going to say I think it's reached its head. I wouldn't necessarily be calling for her head on a silver platter by Chucky at this point. she'd have to do something else after all of this happened for me to be like, okay, no, you definitely still need to go. I think if I had to choose between her or Oliver, yeah, she should have went over Oliver, but something tells me they want to keep Lexi around for dramatic reasoning. But I'm not necessarily sure if she still needs to die. Maybe just get seriously hurt. That has yet to happen to Lexi, and she needs to at least like get slashed in the leg or something like that. Felix is already making the prediction that Lexi will suffer and be the final girl. Okay, so he thinks she's gonna end up being the final girl. Maybe. She might be the final girl, or maybe her sister might end up kind of coming out on top. I'm not sure. I think my guess for the future of it is that it's probably going to be Jake Devin. I don't think Jake Devin or Lexi are going to meet their end. I think Junior might get seriously hurt or something, like maybe his leg or something for a track. That would make sense. But I think they're going to be okay. I could be wrong. I think with Oliver dying, that lets us know that they're not above killing 14-year-olds in this series. But I also kind of think that maybe that was the one time we might see the young kid die and the rest of them might be okay. That's my prediction, but let me know. That's why I'm also saying I'm wondering if this show might pull a 180 and just be like, ha, you thought they were safe and they're not, Let's see. Zach is saying, I hope the Tiffany Valentine doll comes back at some point. Tiffany right now is in Jennifer Tilly's body, but hopefully the girl doll comes back, even if someone else's soul is in the doll's body. That might be a cool thing. Yeah. Although I definitely think we're going to see the actress for sure, because I do think I saw some behind the scenes pictures and she was on set. So I do think we're going to see that at some point. In what capacity? I'm not sure. But I guess we'll see. Bannon is saying, I could see Chucky turning Junior. He's damaged more than people think. Great parents on this show, right? Maybe he starts working on Junior or something. That would also be an interesting twist. Maybe Jake's not the one everyone needed to worry about. Maybe it was Junior people needed to worry about, right? Which leads me to the thing of what we're talking about Chucky having help or trying to influence people. I really enjoyed, once again, the flashbacks in this episode. The one thing I like about the flashbacks of this show is that they don't overstay their welcome. They don't do a thing where, I don't want to jinx it, but so far they haven't done a thing where all the plot in the present stops and we have to watch a whole solo in the past flashback. And I like that it coincides and it highlights what's actually happening here and now. I think that's a really good thing that they're doing with it. So with that said, we got a little bit of Charles Lee Ray a little bit older, right? And him having killed the janitor and also having had kind of influenced another young kid named Andy. Right? That was his name, Andy. And when I heard that name, and I say this like I said, because I didn't watch Call of Chucky, so I don't know. But when we heard that name, I was like, have we seen this Andy character yet? Although I think Andy is also the name of the first kid, right? It was something with an A. I forget. Sorry, guys. Which maybe that was just the joke that it was another name like that. But it would be interesting if this kid was from the past, and that maybe it's a grown-up now still in town helping him, and maybe that's might be what happens. I don't know, but that would be interesting because we know he's good at influencing people. Chucky is very good at converting people, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was getting some kind of help. That was the only thing for me that hinted at maybe he had help, because so far he's been flying solo. He's been getting Jake to take him around, but we don't know how he got into the yard selling Jersey. We don't know any of those things. We don't know why he knows, I think he overheard Bree's conversation, but to kind of know that she has a secret, why would he know that? What would he know about that? Things like that. I think that's going to be revealed, but I don't think his end game, I don't think his end game is just simply to just wreak havoc. I think there's a specific thing he's trying to do. Let's see what some of y'all are saying. Zach is saying, a theory I have is that the school teacher is the son of Glenn and that girl, and girl twin Glenda will come back in the girl doll, Tiffany's old body, and her mother Tiffany is going to stay in Jennifer Tilly's body. I do think I've heard some people have theories about the teacher, although we didn't see her at all this episode. Although why would we see her unless she had a kid at the hospital? So that's also a good theory, because as it stands now, we're kind of still in the dark. Chucky has only been doing very specific things, so it's been kind of small in that sense. And I will say that if in the next episode they don't start revealing why is he here, I will start side-eyeing the series a little bit, because I'm like, okay, this is cool and all, but why is it? What just happened? Am I still live, y'all? Sorry. I think Melon did something weird with me. Let me know if you can still hear me. I think it ejected all of the pictures randomly. But why is he so obsessed with like Jake per se? I mean, I feel like Jake is maybe the one that got him there, but that doesn't mean like that's his only end game. I think Charles Lee Ray has to think a little bit bigger than that, right, y'all? So I'm hoping that's a thing, but I guess we'll see. Let's see what else. So I guess, I mean, like I said, not a lot happened. We did get a kill though. On a scale from 1 to 10, what did you think about this kill? I still was feeling it in my back. When the detective fell on his on the thing. I mean, Chucky's pretty strong for him to be able to throw that and it like to stick in the right spot. But that was a lot. And yeah, that was a good kill. We didn't actually see the kill of the janitor in the past, but I thought that was actually also a good one, with the Peter Pan reference going on and the other kids running, but then one of the kids being completely okay with what he was seeing. And so I think that was cool as well. So it seems like we're getting an average of 1 to 2 kills an episode. The question is, who's going to die next episode, right? Are we just going to get introduced to some random person, or is it going to be someone significant? I still don't think Lexi's going to meet her end if Lexi does meet her end, I think it'll be towards the end of this season rather than anytime soon. See what Bannon is saying. I think Jake's family is somehow connected to Chucky and the OG people. I definitely do think maybe there's something with Jake's mom, because we didn't meet her. She passed a while ago. And what's her family history? Who was she related to? Right? Josh is also thinking. He's got the thinking emoji going on. It's like, what is the connection? Yes, this is what we're wondering, y'all. We are wondering, what is the connection? Bannon is saying, I love the scalpel throw and the paralysis made sense, but what the heck makes the blood come out of the fingertips? I don't know. More blood than there should have been from needle jabs, but I went with it. Another moment of suspension of disbelief, right? We also don't know what he was jabbing him with, right? It was like a crazy concoction of stuff that, once again, just to throw shade at this hospital, it was like, why were there needles just randomly sitting there unlocked next to the little girl's bed? I don't know if someone just dropped it off and that was a mistake. It was weird, but we went with it, right? And then he just starts bleeding from everywhere. Okay, cool. Blake is saying, over the top, classic Chucky. I loved it, but come on. That sharps container would have been better secured, and that surgical pack wouldn't have been let out like that. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's no way. And I feel like all of that was set up so we could have these moments, and that's fine. That's cool. But it was just kind of like, okay, that's not possible. But we got a good kill in it. And, I do think if you have a show like this, you're going to have a kill each episode, or people are going to call foul. They're like, is this a horror movie, or is this like a buildup? Because that's one of the things that I was wondering. I was like, how are they going to be able to keep him being the killer for so long without it being a whole thing of the whole town just getting a hold of him and just wanting to do away with him if they all find out. But if you keep it like this, and then you have these 14-year-olds who don't want to admit because they figure everyone's going to call them crazy anyway, that Chucky was doing this, then that lets this go on longer than, a one-time sitting. But then again, even with that, how much longer can we go? My other question, some of you might have already seen the promo for the next episode, so maybe you already kind of have a hint of the answer if that's how they're going to go with it. But do you think Chucky's going to get a new body? We see, if you watch the promo, we see that Lexi's little sister does get a new good guy doll. It doesn't seem like it was possessed by Charles Lee Ray just yet, though, although it looked like he was about to get a hold of it. So do you think he's going to transfer to the next body and this may start all over again? And would you want that to be the case? I don't necessarily want it to all start over again. I'd be fine if he got a new body, but then it was revealed what he was doing in New Jersey. I feel like since we're halfway through the season, that has to be the next reveal. If not, it's just like these young kids trying to, for some reason, keep away from Chucky. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much longer that can go. See what some of y'all are saying. Zach saying, I loved the ripped off the Judy Myers killing from Halloween with little Michael Myers stabbed his sister while she was combing her hair, but they just tweaked it a little bit. Brilliant. Yeah, there's definitely this is a horror lovers series. This is definitely a series where if you love horror, you will relish in a lot of the things that they're doing. So that's, that's also something. Let's see. Bannon is saying, I wonder if the detective will now think Jake and Lexi are working together as killers. I mean, who knows? I mean, she seems not to be very good at putting together the clues. I mean, in a way. Felix is basically saying, yes, multiple Chuckies like in Cult of Chucky. So I think that's what we might be going with, right? Blake is saying, oh my God, from where aren't they out of production? Was it the other Chucky that Junior saw? Yeah, I mean, this is what's in the promo. It's a very quick promo. It doesn't really give spoilers, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But basically the promo does, one of the spoiler-ish thing is that it seems like Lexi's little sister gets another good guy doll. That her parents look all over and get her another good guy doll. But it's seeming that our Chucky is still in his body walking around. So it's kind of like, okay, she got another good guy doll. Is he going to transfer over? That's the question, right? Yes, Josh, I am definitely going to watch Cult of Chucky because that's part of the canon, it seemed. I mean, like I said, I came into the series kind of not knowing if they were just going to go with if they were only going to go with the first movie. And so that was the case. It was like, okay, that's all I need to know. But it's clear all of the movies are in play. Since basically he also talked about his son, which is, as someone just brought up, Seed of Chucky, which was his son. And so that was in play. So I think everything's in play. So I'm definitely going to have to brush up a little bit. So I guess we'll see with that. Zach is saying, on Seed of Chucky, Chucky said he likes being a killer doll. Sounded like he had at that point embraced what he was. Now he might just be trying to get recruits to build an army and kill people. That definitely might be a thing because it definitely seems like a theme. He definitely seems to be about converting people to be killers. So maybe he just wants to wreak havoc on the world and just kill people and get a whole bunch of people to do it. Oh, but yes, a quick review. I will let you all know. CKR Blake is calling out my card saying, we're going to expect a quick review or something for proof, right? No, yes, y'all. I'm going to watch Cult of Chucky. I am. I'm not just going to cliff note it. I don't know. I can't promise I'm going to watch it by the time of the next episode because I got so much other stuff, but I will be trying to watch it in the course of this season. That's on my list. I might honestly do a rewatch of all the movies and maybe rank them or something. I want to do some franchise rankings soon with like Nightmare on Elm Street and Jason and all that. So maybe I might do that with Chucky as well. Let me know if y'all are interested in that and all, and the rankings of the different movies and different franchises. But yeah, so what we have right now is the biggest revelation is Devin now knows Chucky's burned and Oliver's dead. and Chucky killed again. So not much in terms of like overall plot, in terms of what he's doing, but also interestingly enough, I guess that was fine for it being a 40-minute episode. So I feel like the next episode is going to have to dive a little bit deeper, or we're going to have to start calling foul in terms of them drawing this out. Because I do not want to reveal at the end of this season, oh, this is why I'm in New Jersey. And then we have to wait a whole year for season 2 to go further. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be, that's going to be a bit much if they do it that way. Let's see. Disney Crazy, thanks for joining us in chat. Disney Crazy saying, do you think they'll introduce a new doll in this series like they did Tiffany and Glinda? I think that would be interesting. I mean, sky's the limit, right? I mean, this series definitely seems to be, the creator of the series, who is the original creator of Chucky, seems to really be relishing in all the things that they're doing. It seems like they're having a lot of fun with these scripts. So I wouldn't be surprised if they introduce another doll into the fray. Why not, right? Why not introduce? I mean, everyone loves the original, the Chucky, but I don't think it would be, necessarily bad. So I guess we'll see if they add that into it. I'd be down for it. I'd actually be down for that, because if this is going to be a multi-season show, which it might be, maybe it's not a limited series. When I first heard about it coming out, they made it sound like it was a limited series. But the way it's going is it may not be a limited series. They may be trying to make this a multi-season thing, and this may be the way to do it. Zach is saying, or maybe at some point Lexi swaps bodies with Jake. I don't know. I feel like they're the kind of the human ones for us, so we may not see that necessarily happening. Let's see. Bannon is saying, Chauncey K, teenage Charles Ray friend was none other than Eddie Caputo. Neil Gattulani played Eddie Caputo in 1988 Child Play, Charles Lee Ray's partner in crime. Really? I thought they said his name was Andy, though. Was it not Andy? Oh, did she say the whole name and it was like Andy, Eddie, Caputo, Neil, da-da-da-da? That might be right. You might be right. I got to go back and watch it. Yeah, that'd be something. So that definitely was a callback. So he's not living in town. Okay. I was kind of thinking of that as maybe that's somebody who's still in town in New Jersey and helping him on the low, and we got to listen out for the name. But when you say the whole full name, which I think she did say, that gels. So that would be interesting. Let's see, anything else before we close it out? Devin knows. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this episode, y'all. I am enjoying this series. I'm enjoying talking with you all about it, and I'm going to watch Cult of Chucky so we can talk about that too in relation. I guess I got to brush up on the lore. Like I said, I felt like after Bride of Chucky, I just thought, okay, this is going off the realm, so do I need to keep paying attention to it? But seemingly, I really like this series, so I guess I got to brush up on what they're doing. See what some of y'all are saying. What do y'all hope to see for the rest of the season? Do y'all want this to be a multi-season show? Or are you thinking one good season of a limited series would be fine enough? Do you want a longer show? Do you want a season 2 and 3 or whatever like that? Or are you okay with this being a shortened tell of or longer-ish tell of a Chucky installment? I'm curious. Let me know. And also in the chat, and also in the comment section for those of you who are watching the replay. Always appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up or a like if you're watching it on YouTube, or give me a follow on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch. And for those of you who are on YouTube, but you also are on Twitch and you want to do some longer gameplay with me, follow me on Twitch. That'd be great. I'm on there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Right now on Mondays and Fridays, I play the really spooky horror game Visage, which you can watch the opening of Visage on the YouTube channel here. I put up a video today, and I'm also playing Alien Isolation on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And on Alien Isolation days, we talk UFO conspiracy theories. We talk all things UFO and aliens, all the mysteries of the great planet while I'm trying to find my way off a ship. So if you want to join me on there, It's always a fun time. The link is actually on my cover page of the YouTube, but I'll put it in here as well for you all. If you know someone who loves horror games and likes sitting through horror games, I do love playing horror games and stuff. If you know someone who wants to do that and wants to join me on that, please have them join me. I'll give you the link in the chat for those of you. See what else all you're saying. Blake is saying each season could follow a different Chucky doll. Jennifer Tiffany had a revenge list. She was melling Chucky in one movie. Okay, so I definitely gotta watch Cult of Chucky because I'm confused. I thought Charles Lee Ray only had one soul. How is there a different Chucky? Is he spread out? Like, is he not the original? Man, I really gotta watch it now. I'm confused, y'all. Josh is saying Alien Isolation Days. I'm loving it, Shanti. Yeah, thank you so much. Josh and others have been helping me find my way through a ship and away from the xenomorphs. Oh my gosh, this game, adrenaline. I'm telling you all. If you got the guts to play with me going through a haunted house or through a haunted spaceship, I encourage it. Bannon is saying, I would love it to be a multi-season show. I would hope at least Jake and maybe a few others in each season, but I think it might just be Chucky a new situation. That'd be interesting, like him going to different places. Maybe this season is his hometown of Jersey, and then he ends up in like Los Angeles somewhere, Chucky in Hollywood kind of a thing. That'd be funny. Josh is saying, if they have a good story moving forward, I'm definitely down for multiple seasons. The Chuck Taylor, thanks for joining us. Is saying this show is surprisingly really good. I thought the show originally was going to be horrible. Same. I didn't think it was going to be horrible. I just thought because of my last installment I watched, which was Bride of Chucky, I just thought it was going to be kind of ridiculous. And I didn't really care for sitting through a ridiculous horror show that felt more like horror comedy than anything. And this show has done such a great job of having a balance. So I have been pleasantly surprised that it has kept that going. But yeah, so overall, those are my thoughts, guys. I am excited to see where this goes. I'm also wondering if this is going to be multi-season. It might be if they're still drawing it out about what's actually happening and why Chucky is there. And I will be watching Cult of Chucky because clearly that's got some plot points that I need to be up on to understand some of the stuff that they're doing. Disney Crazy also asking, do you think any of the 4 main kids will die before the season ends? That was my thing. I don't think they will. I think that's why Oliver was the sacrificial lamb, so to speak. As in they had to kill one of the kids. They didn't want to kill a main kid. But they also didn't want you to think that all the kids were safe, because if they didn't kill at least someone in their age range, you would believe that none of them are going to die. So that would take away the stakes, right? So I think that's why that happened, although they still don't have any intention of killing them. That's my first thought. The other thought is one of them might die. I think most people want Lexi to be the one. If anyone's got to go, it's got to be Lexi. Although I worry that it's going to be Devin to kind of have some emotional, some kind of emotional weight on Jake if Devin's the one that gets killed, so I worry about that. And I worry about the kind of, just the layers of that, like the one black kid on the show has to die. But, I've seen too many shows where the person who probably should meet their demise doesn't. So I'm not putting it past them to let Lexi be the one that lives and Devin's the one that died, or Jake sacrifice himself. And my other guess is maybe Junior turns bad, and that maybe he kind of becomes a killer like Chucky. Maybe he gets influenced and then he has to die, something like that. It would be an interesting turn of events if Junior ends up helping Chucky on some level. Let's see what somebody's saying. Will is saying, God bless you for going back to watch that trash. So Will, are you saying that you think Cult of Chucky was trash? Because everyone else in the chat today has been telling me this is the one movie I have got to watch of the Chucky franchise, aside from, of course, the first two. And people are saying that one is quintessential. So I don't know. Well, you might be in the minority on that. Will is also saying the series can go in any direction. I like that it doesn't have any predictability. Exactly. We don't know. I think that's also a cool thing about this. It would be interesting if Lexi ends up in a doll's body, as Zach is saying. That would be interesting to me, only because wouldn't that be fitting if she ends up stuck in a doll's body somehow? That'd be very, that'd be very something. Will is also pointing out that Colt is very split with fans. Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, I heard some people say it was great, and then I've seen on other things people say, "Oh, what the heck," So, but I appreciate y'all who tell me, give me recommendations. I mean, y'all are my community. I love y'all guys. So, I'm like, okay, y'all bigging up Colton Chucky, because y'all know I'll tell you if I thought it was bad, because y'all know I don't got no problem telling you if I think something's bad. So, y'all being so gung ho about it, Oh no, Blake is going. Oh, Blake, come on, you going back now. Blake's saying, no, I'm not saying it's a good movie. Wait a minute, Blake. What is the truth? What is the truth, Blake? Blake is saying Cult of Chucky is a guilty pleasure. Okay. All right. Let's see what's some Demetrius. Hi, Demetrius. Thanks for joining us. Demetrius saying, I wonder if the show is going to pass the torch onto these new characters to continue the franchise, because Dan then stated that this will be the last time Chucky and Andy have a showdown. Oh, okay. All right. So is Andy showing up? Because Andy's from the first movie. Is he coming? Because that'd be something if Andy shows up. So you feel like Andy's gonna show up? Because I don't think he's made an appearance yet, right? Let's see. Some Zach is saying, yeah, I like that about the show too, Will. I just hope that the surprise aren't a letdown. I hope they're worth the wait. Definitely. That would be interesting if there's like a passing of the torch. I mean, I'd be, like I said, like others have said, I'd be fine if this was multi-season, if there's stories worth telling. Now, if it becomes what I felt like the later part of the franchise became, where it just felt like, okay, y'all are just trying to get some money, which, I mean, they're not the only ones to do that. There have been plenty of franchises I've loved where I've said, okay, this is a money grab. So, like Halloween. So I'm fine, but we'll see. Oh yeah, he was on the phone. You're right. I totally forgot about that. Andy's saying we heard Andy on the phone the first episode. He told Jake to check the batteries. He did. But then something happened to him because he was like, hold on, someone's at the door. I didn't order something. And then we don't hear anything. So what happened to him? What happened to Andy? But that would be awesome. I would love that if there was an ultimate showdown between him and Andy. Like, it has to be that. Dimitri is letting us know Andy and Kylie are returning. I did hear about Kylie. I did hear about that. I did see that, some behind the scenes pictures of that. So we figured that. So that'll be really good. And Fiona is coming back from Call of Chucky. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to. And that's the question on if they're going to be able to fill all that in. And I think we got 6 more episodes, y'all. They might. I mean, that's 6 hours. They have 6 hours almost with commercial breaks and everything. About 5.5 hours to tell this story with these other characters coming in. So I guess we'll see if they'll be able to pull it off or if they have to go into another season. I mean, there's been plenty of shows that have done it so that each season isn't necessarily a time jump. I mean, we know what's the show? Well, Halloween itself is a franchise where the next movie is always just like an hour later of the first movie, right? So it also could happen where season 1 takes place all in the same time frame as season 2, if they were to do it. Like, it's not like, oh, this happened, that's the end of the story, let's time jump. It's like, okay, this happened, next season we'll pick up from there. Like Halloween, 2018 did with Halloween Kills. So that could also be a thing where you don't have to switch the whole storyline again just for another season. But that means they also might have to draw this out. So we'll see. But yeah, y'all, those are my thoughts. Thank you for joining me for this. It's always a pleasure talking these stories with you. If you haven't already on YouTube, give this video a like. And yeah, if there was a glitch or something earlier where it made y'all think that I was going live earlier than I was, I'll check into that. might have been some wonky scheduling thing with YouTube, but yeah, it's definitely 5:30 on Thursdays for Chucky, Los Angeles time, so PST time. And also, y'all, if you are on Twitch or are you thinking about joining Twitch and wanting to watch me do some horror games, please do join me over there. I put the link in the chat, and it's also on my banner that you can click on this channel. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I got some stuff coming up though for the YouTube channel, some videos for you all, in particular the Dune video I was telling you about, and a special top 5 ranking video that should be coming up hopefully sometime next week. So until then, all of you stay safe, and don't look under your bed. Maybe Chucky's there, maybe he's everywhere, and I'll leave you with that. Stay safe, everybody. Love you guys. Let's see.